Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to all the Geminis out there. If you are a Gemini sun, moon, rising, or north node, this is your tarot reading for the upcoming month of May of 2025, almost entering in Gemini season at the end of the month. So excited. I love Gemini season so much. I love Geminis. Heck yeah. So welcome. And in case any of you are interested, I will be using my Every Little Thing You Do is Magic tarot deck, one of my favorites. I think the deck itself is magical as well. So you guys will see why in just a moment. So, with all of that said, let's see what Gemini has in store for May. All right, Gemini. So, we have the Hermit reversed, the Ace of Wands upright, the Seven of Pentacles, and at the bottom of the deck, we have the Star reversed. And under the Star is the Wheel of Fortune reversed as well. And under the Wheel of Fortune reverse is the Magician reverse. Three very powerful, potent cards all coming out reversed. Huh. And I believe the Magician is the card for Gemini too. So we'll start with the cards that fell out. The number 22 can be significant for some of you. But with the Hermit, the Hermit reverse, the Ace of Wands upright, and the Seven of Pentacles, you are in a brand new beginning. Like you are starting fresh. You're coming out of you might have been in a Hermit period for a long time, maybe a couple months, maybe a year, maybe since April of 2023. So last 2 years or so, you've been in this extended period of hermit mode, but now you are finally emerging and you can sense this new beginning on the horizon. Or not even on the horizon. Like I think it's already happening. And perhaps you're at the tail end of your last cycle that was going through. So you're not quite like stepping out into the new beginning like right this moment, but you're mentally already starting anew. You're mentally already there. And the Ace of Wands isn't only an ace that denotes new beginnings, it's the first card of the minor arcana in the zodiac or in the tarot as well. So it's brand new beginning, like starting fresh. Like you might even feel like a different person than you were at the start of this hermit period. And now you are like sitting it and with the Seven of Pentacles as well, it tells me that you have done a lot of work on yourself. A lot of work on yourself while you have been in this hermit period for however long you have been. And all of that self-work has brought you this newfound sense of confidence, but also curiosity for the world. Where I feel like before you were hermiting because you were afraid to be seen in the world or like really step out and be known and be loved and all of those big beautiful things that come with being seen and being vulnerable. You're now so like you have really gone to the depths and you worked on yourself and you're ready to start a new and it's not that you're ready to show people who you really are, but you're just ready to allow yourself to be known. And then the benefits of that are you are finally going to be perceived in the way you always wanted to be perceived. Where in the past, which maybe caused the sermon period, it's possible that people judged you based on like one small tiny fractal of what they knew about you. And although sometimes Geminis, like you guys often put up a front that you don't care about what others think, you're mercurial, you're always in your mind. So the perceptions of others, not only can you sense them and hear them oftentimes, especially if you're really tapped into your clair audience, you can literally hear what people are saying about you sometimes, but it's really easy to internalize that because you are so in your head a lot a lot. And so you took this time in your hermit period to kind of disconnect from what the outer perspective was, what the outer words were saying, what all of these people may have thought about you, whether positive or negative. Um, I want to believe that it's mostly overwhelmingly positive, but the voices of the negative are always so much louder and stronger when it comes to how they resonate. And that's often because we're our own biggest critics. So when we hear the criticism of others, we take it on as our own voice. But you've worked through that. You've worked through that. And since it's the Seven of Pentacles, I love the energy of the seven because it's like I have worked very, very hard up until this point. And so I don't, oh my God, I just bit my cheek. Some sort of confirmation there. I don't know who that was for. You've worked hard up until this point to get to the clarity and the sureness within yourself that you have up until this point. And you know the hard work isn't necessarily over, but the hardest part is done. The hardest part is done. And I like to say, think of the pentacle suit like you're planting a seed, right? So you have the individual seed. You plant that in the soil and then you water it every day, leave it in sunlight until that tiny, tiny little sprout comes up. And you get so excited when you see the sprout because you're like, yes, finally, my peppers, they're coming to life. Let's go. And then you have to care for that sprout, water it every day, keep it in the sunlight, but don't over sun it. And it's like very meticulous care up until the sprout turns into a plant. And it can kind of take care of itself a little bit more there, so you don't have to be meticulous about watering it every day or making sure it has the right light, but you still have to care for it. You still have to put your energy and time and effort towards that plant. And then when it gets to the Seven of Pentacles, that's when you start to see it flowering. So there is still a lot of time between the flowering stage and the fruiting stage, and then the harvest stage after it fruits. Right now, the Seven of Pentacles is the flowering. So you put in a lot of care and tenderness and meticulous attention to detail when it came to watering your own seeds within you and really drudging up the old weeds. And you put a lot of care into the work you did on yourself. And now the hardest part is over, but you still have to care for this until it fruits. And then you have to care for it again until that fruit is ready to harvest. So you're past the middle point, but there are still ways to go. And you know that. But you are now ready that it's almost like the tenderness and the care you need now in order to get from flowering to fruiting is to be seen. It's to face this carnal fear of being perceived and being seen in ways that you don't like. And the biggest challenge now is going to be allowing yourself to show up authentically, which you guys have been working on, like becoming yourself, allowing yourself to show up authentically and having no qualms with people who don't resonate with you, because the people who do resonate with you will need you. And oftentimes, the people who do resonate with you will not be as loud. They will not be as loud about how much you are impacting them in a positive way. They'll notice it, they'll acknowledge it, they will grow and start their own journey of seed to sprout to plant to flower, etc. And you'll get to witness it, but it won't necessarily be evident that it was your authenticity or impact that made it happen. But you just have to trust that you showing up authentically, you're making the impact on the world you're meant to make. And anybody that doesn't resonate with that, they might be loud about it. They might call you boisterous and overly like exertive, whatever it may be. They will say whatever they're going to say. And your challenge now is to not internalize that, not take that in. Understand that's just a projection that they need to work through themselves, and it has nothing to do with you. And you just continue to show up authentically. You don't allow these perceptions anymore to push you back into that hermit mode, because the hermit mode's done. There is nothing more you can learn from this hermit period. I mean, and that's not to say, confirmation nose itch there too. Oh my goodness. That's not to say that, when you get to the next evolution of your journey, you won't go back into hermit mode. But right now, you are meant to be seen. You are meant to start anew on this brand new beginning, on this brand new journey of the wand suit is all about passion and creativity and connecting to your intuition and really just blindly trusting that when you set out on a path, when you set on a path and are being led by your intuition, being led by this guttural feeling that's just pulling you forward, almost like you have a blindfold on and you're just trusting what you feel to guide you. That's what the wand suit is about. And trusting that this guidance will awaken you to your passions and bring you this sense of creativity and just overwhelming joy of experience for all types of experience. But it's about putting yourself out there and getting out there and letting the world show you just how beautiful and magical it really can be. And what's fascinating is these three reversals. Now, when it was just the star reversed, it's possible that, you might be expecting inspiration to come in a very particular way. And so it's just about shifting your perspective to be more open to allowing inspiration to come in other avenues. And I will say this too before I continue on with the Wheel of Fortune and the Magician reverse. Every single time a reverse card comes up, it doesn't mean that the upright version of that energy is not available to you. It just might be around some sort of roadblock or obstacle or internal, like something that needs to be dredged up. And once that is dredged up, then you can move forward as is. But there is some sort, and especially with it being the Magician, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Star, it leads me to believe that it's something to do with your understanding of your own power and your own capabilities to like co-create your reality, or even just create your reality, depending on what you believe in. But with My cat's in the litter box. Dredging up. Nothing's a coincidence. Literally dredging up or burying down, whatever it may be. But there are certain abilities, certain powers that you have tried to like really push down because maybe you don't want to believe that maybe there's still a part of you that doesn't believe you're worthy of holding that. Yeah, there's resonance there. There's a part of you that doesn't believe you're worthy. There's another part of you that thinks this is available to everyone. And so what's the big deal kind of thing. Some of you are very, very spiritually gifted. Some of you have experienced some of you have experienced deep esoteric experience, feeling, understanding, knowingness. A lot of you, and I almost said some of you again, but a lot of you, this is going to resonate for a lot of you. You have experienced things in this lifetime that are usually reserved for masters. And it's because you are on the mystic path of mastery. Wow. But there's still a part of your mind. There's still a fear there. This came up in a channel last night as well. This idea of fear. Okay. So when you are, how do I even explain this? It's hard to explain with words. That's why there's an expanse, and this expanse is infinite. This is where the flow exists. This is where it's universal love, really. But it's just being. It's just the infinite expanse of existence without fear, because there's no room for fear there. And it's interesting to think that there's no room for fear in this infinite expanse because you're saying it's infinite. There's infinite room, there's infinite space. How is there not room for fear? It's because fear is a black hole. Fear is a black hole. So, in this infinite expanse, if you welcome fear into the equation, there's nowhere to hide in that expanse from fear because fear takes up the entire expanse. It's not that it takes up the expanse, but as soon as fear enters, like opens the door to that expanse, or you open the door for fear to enter that expanse, that door turns into a portal that sucks the expanse into fear. And then you can't get back into the expanse when you're resonating in fear. Not that you can't ever get back to it. It's just that when you are in this place of fear, that expanse is not available to you because there's no room for fear in the expanse. So when you feel yourself getting sucked into this fear, oftentimes it's fear of being seen and perceived and known, but especially with this collective, I feel it's a fear of the true power that you hold, which is why all three of these are reversed. Some of the most powerful cards in the tarot, might I add. All reversed, all one on top of another. Because you fear the true power. Like, look at this raccoon. He does not fear his power. He's ready. He's ready to harness that. And that's the energy you need to get to. But again, if they're reversed, it doesn't mean that it's unavailable to you. But you have to do some deep, deep cleansing, healing, shadow work. So that's where I was going. Once you feel yourself getting sucked into that abyss that fear has created, eventually, if you don't fight the current, if you don't fight the current, that abyss will eventually bring you to bottom. And the bottom is your subconscious. A huge bird just flew over my property and casted a big shadow. Funny enough. Now it's in the tree, but I can't really see it. If you don't fight the current, that abyss will bring you to bottom. And when you're at bottom, you recognize it's just your subconscious there. That everything you had been fearing before is just yourself. And that in itself is terrifying, to see yourself, to hold yourself accountable, to take accountability for yourself, for these things that you have kept hidden from yourself for a long time, whether things you did to others, things you did to yourself, or things others have done to you. It's again, it's another expanse, which is funny, but it's this expanse of darkness. It's this expanse of shadow. It's this expanse of what you thought you had to fear. And it's deep work and it's darker than you may expect. But what's fascinating is once you come face to face with the bottom, once you come face to face to that, all of a sudden, not only does the abyss dissipate and you're back in this infinite expanse and you realize there is no bottom because it's infinite. Not only do you realize that, but you recognize that the experiences you have at the peaks, at the height, and again, some of you have already experienced some things like this almost by accident, but it wasn't a fluke. It was just to show you the way when it did happen. The experiences you have at the height, even if this experience lasted 1 minute of your life, never got another experience again, and the rest of your life was at the bottom of this abyss, this 1 minute of experience is worth a lifetime at the bottom of that abyss because that's how powerful that is. And think of it like a scale. The deeper you go in the abyss, the higher you can go upward. As above, so below. It's the exact same thing. So the upright versions of these cards are on the other side of facing exactly what it is you fear. And once you come face to face to that, you will realize there really isn't anything to fear because it's just you. 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 And then all of a sudden, you start to recognize how much you have already created your reality, maybe for better, maybe for worse, how much you have already played a significant role in creating your reality, and now you are actively, consciously becoming a co creator of your reality. And when I say co creator, you are working with universal forces beyond your comprehension to bring in good fortune, to bring in expansion, to bring in luck and blessings into your life like magic. And you are able to tap into this sacred divine sense of creativity, this divine sense of integration, cosmic connection, and have one foot in the divine, one foot in the expanse, and one foot on the physical world at all times, which just helps guide you. It's almost like you unlock a cheat code. And all of a sudden, all these cards that were reversed are now upright. And this is you. This is what you're destined for. Is power, is magic, but it's also responsibility. And that responsibility starts with yourself. And once you take responsibility and accountability for yourself, then you can start on this path of however it looks for you, whether it's being an artist, being a guide, being a mentor, being whatever it may be. It's going to be different for all of you. And I think a lot of you, it's going to be a little bit of everything because Geminis are multifaceted. And if you study human design, if you have Gemini placements and you're a manifesting generator, holy shit, there's no limit to what you can actually accomplish and dip your toes in this lifetime. And it's not even the idea of jack of all trades, master of none, because you have the capacity to become a master at every single thing that you do. You are multi-talented and you are meant to use those talents to your advantage. And that's something else we can look at the magician with a specific card. You're talented in this area. You're talented in this area. Like every single area. It's like you are able to harness that to your greatest abilities. But before you are able to do that, because right now they're all still reversed. Before you're able to do that, you need to allow yourself to go into that abyss. I'm working the artist way right now. Shout out to all of you who are doing this because it's not easy. And I'm on my week of reading deprivation. And yesterday was day 2. After the first day, I was like, wow, I had a lot of clarity today. Yesterday, an entire portal opened for me. I channeled for like 3 hours and then had the greatest night of sleep in my life. And I usually remember my dreams. They're usually very vivid. I didn't, oh, I think I did dream. I remember dreaming, but I didn't remember when I woke up until I went to do my morning pages. And I was writing my morning pages and I was like, oh my God, this was part of my dream. I took out my morning pages in my dream and I knew it wasn't the morning. I knew what I was writing wasn't for the morning pages, but it was the only thing I had to write on. And I was just like writing like mad, which I think I opened another channel in my dream. But that was after 2 days of this practice. 2 days. So it's about making that commitment to yourself. It's about deciding that you are ready to take this energy and make it work for you. And I have chills all over my body because once you do that, oh my God, Gemini, limitless, infinite possibilities, alignment. brand new beginning leading you to your passions, to your creativity, to your sense of connection, to the world, the world around you. Because again, you've worked very hard and the hardest part is over, but there's still work to be done. There is still work to be done. And again, once you allow yourself to go into that abyss, you really realize there is nothing to fear. This was already so long. Let's shuffle one more time. On the deck, we have the Four of Cups. And then we had the Queen of Wands fall out. And when I flipped her over, she was sideways, so this can go upwards or reversed. But to me, I think the message is clear enough. There's going to be a part of you that wants to hold on very tightly to your safety. It's going to be your ego. It's going to fight the current of the abyss. It's going to do everything to make you feel that you have to keep playing small. Even if you do decide to, go out in the world and not be in the hermit mode anymore, there's going to be a small part of you that wants to remain hidden, that wants to remain small, that will look at opportunities presented and be like, they'll find some reason why it doesn't work for them. And it's going to keep you from some really great things until you are ready to dive in to that abyss. And the moment you do, you'll stop fearing how big you are, how powerful you are, how potent your energy is. That's emphasized by the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is somebody who has the capability of destroying others, destroying worlds with her word. She doesn't use weapons. She doesn't need to use cunning, although she is very cunning. She just speaks the truth in a way that's so pointed, so blatantly honest. Honest to the point of recklessness. Althea, Grateful Dead. Some of you will resonate with that one. She has the capability of being so brutally honest that, especially towards people who are not the most self aware or ready to take accountability for themselves, she has that power to destroy them. And knowing this, she chooses not to. Knowing this, she instead makes poetry. Knowing this, she uses her empathy for the world to create art that will help move the people who really could use the slap in the face. But she knows there's no, she knows. She is better suited using her power to promote love, growth, creativity. And through that ability to create, she is able to take the depth and the darkness of the sword suit, especially because the swords, I think, is the most like dampening of the entire tarot deck. She's able to take the wisdom of the dark journey she went on through the swords and make it art and change people through her art. Rather than being pointed, rather than using a sword, she uses a paintbrush or a pen. And perhaps for some of you, that's going to be what is the catalyst for you to dive all the way into the abyss. Maybe some of you do need to be pointed. I just realized there's a sword in this too. I guess it makes sense because it's a sword suit, but there's a sword there, but surrounded by, beautiful birds, peacock, parrot, these gorgeous butterflies and moths, hummingbirds, everything. And the sword's in the ground, they're not using that. They're using it as a playground. But I think some of you will use this power, this gift, to be pointed, and then you may internalize the perceptions of others after that happens, which causes you to go down into the abyss. And it's going to be the greatest thing that happens to you. And it's going to be dark and it's going to be scary and you're going to feel alone. But coming out on the other side of that is going to be quite literally the start of the rest of your life. the start of what you were brought here on earth to do. No pressure. Oh my gosh. But really, it's deep work. And I don't even think that whoever watches this, it's going to be, this is only going to find who is supposed to hear it. I trust that. Because it's not for everybody and you need to understand that. So, with all of that said, Gemini, this was a general reading again for the month of May. It's possible not everything resonated, but again, I trust that this will find who it does resonate for. But if you did want a personal reading with me, you can book on my website, linked in my description below. There you can book for tarot, get your astrology chart read, human design chart read, and numerology reports as well. I'm leaning into Chaldean numerology, which I am obsessed with. There's a deep resonance to that. It's different than Pythagorean, but there's more truth to it, I think. It's based on the sound vibrations rather than the structure of the number table. More ancient. Anyway, if you're interested, you can book with me there. If you did like this reading, leave me a like and leave me a comment and let me know how it resonated. And of course, we do this every single month for all the signs. So if you're looking to get your forecast for the month ahead according to the tarot cards, go ahead and subscribe to my channel because I would love to have you guys here in the future, Gemini. I adore you guys. I really do. And there's not much else to say. That's already been said. It's time to tap in. It's time. I love you guys.